Hey, why should I be on the internet? Why? Well, by the time we're in college, the internet will be our telephone, television, shopping center, and workplace. And it's already got more stuff in it than you could possibly imagine.
Oh, okay, clearly none of you have any idea how to run my system. God damn, all right, I'm gonna get everybody what they want, including myself. Let me just think for a second. Let me just work something out here, and then... Well...
What's he doing?
Just shut up and let him work.
6.4 billion connected devices now serve as collection points, mapping and recording our daily routines, making a more secure and more invasive system. But who else is listening?
Hey, America. Did you miss my hot breath in your ear?
There's gonna be submachine guns and boobies. Whammy.
Oh, it's gonna get stanky. And now it's my turn to talk.
You know, the world has gone mad. There is no morals, there is no loyalty, there is no nothing. Everyone just do what you can, listen to the government, follow everybody like sheep, be brainwashed by all the Zionist Jewish people who own all the banks, all the papers, all the TV stations. Be brainwashed by them all. Just listen, it's okay. You're all going to heaven, it doesn't... Oh, sorry, there isn't a heaven, is there? There isn't a heaven in modern day world. Sorry, no one's going to heaven because there is no heaven. No, there is no gods, there is no nothing. So just crack on, do your thing, shag your animals, shag each other, and do what you got to do to survive, and have a nice time in hell with the devil.
Well, let me tell you, there are worse things than death.
Yes?
There's such a thing as evil.
You must be familiar with my favorite poem by Yeats, The Second Coming. Black Irish, very moving. Turning and turning in the widening gyre, the falcon cannot hear the falconer. Things fall apart. The center cannot hold. Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. And everywhere the ceremony of innocence is lost. Best lack all conviction, and the worst are full of passionate intensity. But it ends so beautifully ominous. What rough beast its hour come round at last slouches toward Bethlehem to be born?
What are you listening to?
You gotta hear this one song. It'll change your life, I swear.
It's good, I like it.
Wait, you're telling me the moon landing didn't happen?
Although, are we really together? Are we all together in this room?
Are we? I feel like we're connected in some way, but maybe.
For anyone watching, can you guess which one of us isn't really here? Welcome back! I'm the one in Los Angeles.
But so many of these shooters say the same MK Ultra thing. What is that? Well, they're just schizophrenic. You do know that psychology is a pseudoscience. No, you don't. Our mental health systems are set up on a pseudoscience. We have an entire chunk of human anatomy and cognitive neuroscience that we primarily use for surveillance since the 90s. And a bunch more of you who claim that you're all free on the left with defending your trans friends. I'll say it again. You didn't need to cut anybody open and make them suffer. We have different systems for hormonal control with that same anatomy that makes your psychologists completely fraudulent. They're behaviorists. Cognitive neuroscience and behaviorism are tangential. They interact with one another, but they are not the same thing.
I don't care how much you love this guy and how much you think he is essential, or whatever fairy tale you've concocted in your head about any of these people, any of our leaders that you love so much, yet have never met. I mean, all of these people would want nothing to do with you. The Obamas, the Trumps, they wouldn't want anything to do with you. Do you understand the way these people fucking look at you? When will you? When do you think you people will wake up? And if we keep thinking that these people give a fuck about us and that they care about us on any level at all, we're going to delude ourselves to death. You're gonna let these people run your life? You're on Earth for a certain amount of time and you're investing in that? You're investing in this? These are the types of people you're investing in? Or Trump, was they dancing with Epstein like this for 30 years and then decides that he doesn't know who he is? These are the people that you're going to spend your time investing in? What kind of perpetual state of fucking childhood Peter Pan syndrome is this? Where you spend your entire fucking life listening to these goons. All the fuck they want to do is get power, and you give it to them so easily.
As everyone knows, I have also been deeply engaged in
So we are here today to discuss the upcoming year's plan. Of course, I am representing the capstone of the pyramid, the Council of the 13. We are the true rulers of this planet. There are no outliers. We are the left, and we are the right. Here to say how you worst. All major policies flow through us. So for all those who don't know, this is how the structure works. At the bottom of the pyramid you have the debt slaves. This is 80% of the world. They are born. They are schooled. They then become the labor force, retire, grave. Then comes the controllers, These controllers are the ones who influence and exploit the 80%. So government, media, and academics. Then comes the world population control. Now, unfortunately, I cannot discuss this level with all in here because not all of you have reached the level on the pyramid, so I cannot reveal the secrets of this degree. But to all my disciples who have reached the 33rd degree, I will speak in the secret Mason tongue. Next are the corporations, who I can see the heads are among us. You are the major influencers. We need you to innovate. You play an important role on the emerging markets. So keep up the good work. The World Resource Control. Again, this is restricted to the 33-degree members only. The next up is the tax and interest revenue, and of course the central bank control, the money supply. They are how we control the masses. Money based on literally nothing. We call it fiat money. Then above that is, of course, the central banking system, or World Bank. Then above that are the think tanks, like this one, the Bilderberg Group, Council of Foreign Relations, the United Nations. Then comes the subfamilies, and above that, the Committee of 300. Now, at the top of the pyramid is me, and the other Council of 13. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you would please listen, as I lay out the plan for the upcoming year.
Let me show you what it's capable of. Last year, we set up cameras at the local community center. Decided to run a little experiment. The question, what would happen to modern humans if we reverted their psyche to an original state of nature? When activated, the device sends an audio frequency that reduces the brain to its animalistic core. In this case, the frequency was limited, but next time, it will spread through every smart device until the entire world is infected. As for us, upon detonation, we will decap to one of my super bunkers around the world, where there will be food, water, and the best live entertainment the world has to offer.
What's up, evil billionaires?
I am very sorry, truly, to how many people out there are completely unaware of what's going on here in regards to neuromodulation. And I am very sorry that so many people are polarizing. They're watching you, and they're loading you into databases. Who's they? Continuity of government. So I'm very sorry that you didn't learn anything about your own police, U.S. Marshals, fusion centers, intelligence community tools that we've been using since bare minimum, the Rodney King riots. I'm sorry that nobody told you the truth of 2 years of neuromodulation for IBM Business, brain-to-brain interfaces, business data workflow. I'm sorry that people distracted you with BS about the mothership, which even Dark Journalist last night, he was also so disappointed. He has been for a while. But apparently these congressional hearings just simmered away like they didn't even exist. And I said that too, due to the Golden Dome deployment with Lockheed Martin. So they want a civil war. They want a Mao revolution, death by 1,000 cuts, parents versus children, so that this is my conjecture now. Okay, I've said this the whole time. It hasn't changed.
Mother, Oreo smoothie now!
The new goal is to cause an individual to become subservient to an imposed control, to the point where he will perform acts against his will and then have no memory of the act. The search for a real-life Manchurian candidate begins. In the Hollywood classic directed by John Frankenheimer, a hypnotized soldier is programmed to assassinate a presidential candidate. Like a clip from the movie, the CIA attempts to create its own Manchurian assassins using hypnosis and drugs.
You create this new identity inside that's hidden from the main part of the person by an amnesia barrier. And then using an access code, you can call out this new identity for whatever mission purpose.
To produce such an assassin, the CIA faces two main challenges: how to induce amnesia and how to program in new behavior. In 1957, Dr. Ewan Cameron, an eminent psychiatrist in Montreal, believes he has the answers.
The agency sought him out because they had noticed his work, in particular with two techniques, intensive electroshock and what he called psychic driving.
Cameron applies his techniques under the guise of normal therapy.
It's hard to say just how awful and horrendous what Cameron proposed and what our government financed was. There's a three-part technique which started with an effort to wipe out past patterns of behavior. And this was accomplished through the use of particularly intensive, repeated, high-level electroshocks until no more convulsions could be elicited from a patient.
Cameron then plays tape-recorded messages through helmets that are locked to his patients' heads.
What these people have done is turned this technology into a video game, and that is exactly how they approach it. They approach it as though they are playing a cross between Sid Meier's Civilization on their computer and Sims, where they are controlling all of civilization and also controlling people on the individual level. The overall effect of this technology is one that can control the mood, the attitudes, the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions, and thus the motivations and then the actions of the target. All day, every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It is a highly sophisticated technology. It is one that produces literal and total and complete mind control over the targeted individual. And it is in the hands right now of people that are using it for nefarious purposes, extremely evil and destructive purposes against individuals like myself. I am now a target of this technology because I've decided to speak out about it and try to shed some light on it and try to get some progress. As many of the test subjects, so-called, the people are being experimented on, or as within the program as they're called, a target, as many of them have already learned, one of the key means of covering up this program is to use the psychological profession to do so. Those who speak out about this issue are funneled to psychiatrists for evaluation, to render a diagnosis of schizophrenic, multiple personality disorder, delusional, paranoid, depressed, upon the test subjects, the targets, so that they will be discredited, so that if they talk out any further or they ever start making any progress against this program, they are inherently discredited because those who run this program will simply release the psychological files and claim that the person is mentally ill. This is a perfect way to cover up such a technology whose main feature and most popular feature, most well-known feature, is voice to skull, which induces sound within the cranial cavity of the test subject, of the target themselves, so that when that person goes to speak out about it, when they go to seek help from their fellow human beings, and their fellow human beings say, "What is it that's happening to you?" the target will then say, "I'm hearing voices inside my head." Obviously, If members of the general public are not aware of the existence of this technology, which many of them are not, most of them are not, then they will interpret that as concerning. They will feel concern for the target, and they will conclude that this person must be crazy. And as a result, they will recommend psychological evaluation for that person. You can see the way this is going to go, and the way it is going right now. As good people, helpless people that are being abused and tortured and enslaved and experimented upon in America today, American citizens cry out for help from their fellow Americans, and their fellow Americans say, why don't you take some Prozac because we think you're schizophrenic? When this is a highly technical program, all of the symptoms are induced by a technology that is so fucking sophisticated, it is horrifying beyond description. This technology can be used to beam images and even motion pictures into one's brain. Images and motion pictures that are so realistic that you think you're actually watching a movie or seeing something in reality. It's like a virtual reality 3D rendering that takes place within the target's mind.
It's the principal. Principal? Nigga, please. We both dead inside.
Now, give me money. Or I shoot him, and I shoot all you motherfuckers. And then we take it. Your choice, bitches.
Our job is to taste free air. Your so-called boss may on the clock that taunts you from the wall. But my friends, the hour is yours.
An issue where I think it was the next level up in the chain of command. You know, if there's 3 or 4 jobs you could take, there was a couple of them where you might be read into this program. And so we've got this issue here where we have a non-consensual experiment with a group of American citizens, and these some former military, but a lot of just unsuspecting citizens. It's a group of people here in the United States. They're calling themselves targeted individuals, and it's people from all walks of life, and a lot of it's people who can't fight back. It seems like predominantly the folks we talk to on the calls are it's about 70% women, single women who live alone, that may not have a technical background that could even imagine something like this has happened in the past or could happen now.
Now I understand how you can do something non-consensually, because it's not like you're going to the VA to get a prostate exam and then suddenly you're like, wow, something's going on. They're just picking you out, using you, you don't know it.
Yep, completely wireless.
So you have to infiltrate them with something, though, right? Something has to touch their...
Not necessarily. A lot of people think that it can be done completely remote.
Wow.
But the only people that are going to know for sure are the ones that work with this technology. This is something where you're going to spend for the scientist portion, you're going to spend about 6 years, developing your skills as a neuroscientist, and then as an operator that will work with a finished system, you're going to get at least 18 months to 2 years of
Which, like
training
most weapons, are great until they turn it against you. Natural question, how concerned are you going on the air and talking about this and walking across? Why don't you just disappear and chill a coffee?
No, I would just not. There's no way. These people are this is like a torture weapon. I couldn't live with myself knowing that, it's like not stepping in ahead of the Holocaust, or not stepping in.
And has this made it up to like Capitol Hill? Are there any senators who say...
this group has done public outreach for something like 30 years, and then a couple of people came out of the government. One of them came out of the CIA that worked with this equipment. He's got multiple degrees out of Harvard and Dartmouth. He's talked on the radio just for quite a long time, trying to let people know about this program. And it just doesn't go anywhere with the government. So it really needs to happen kind of
grassroots.
Grassroots, organically. That people need to know that this is happening.
But wouldn't there be people in
the military or government angry about what you're doing, about spreading the word, not wanting people to know that this technology exists?
Yeah, you can't worry about that. You're talking about, they've tortured people to the point where they're going and shooting up, committing mass shootings. Those are not the people you need to worry about. That's not what the military is about. There's a strong ethical undercurrent there. If they're given an unlawful order, they know not to follow it. And this is clearly a case where this is a rogue program.
So we have this up on our blog,
on the Facebook
page.
Are there citizens of this country that are being abused with this technology?
Worse than abuse, that's a light word. They're being tortured.
Now, the brain is an amazing organ. When it functions, there are millions and millions of neurons that become active. And what we've done at DARPA is develop the technology in order to sense these signals in real time.
No, Sam, that's not how we do it. Let me show you how we take care of the creature. Let me show you how we take care of the creature. Go, Rita! Get him! Hit him! Hit him! Rita! That's
the entire world will unite against Israel. But guess what? That's what their religion wants. In the extreme form of Jewish eschatology, or their religion, they believe that at the end of the world, Israel will fight the entire world and God will help Israel triumph in the end. So what's really happening in Gaza is that there are extremists within the Israel government who want to accelerate the process of the end of the world, where Israel will face the world. And if you think about it, the entire idea of this ritual sacrifice is to unite the Israeli population. And what's extremely disturbing and horrifying about it is that this works. Why? Well, let's use an analogy, okay? The analogy is this. In Chinese history, the most popular military stratagem is to fight with a river behind your back. You guys have heard of this strategy, right? Where, an army is losing, it's being scattered by the enemy. So what the general does is forces the army to retreat to a river. And now with the river blocking your escape, you have a choice. You can either drown in the river, or you can fight to the death. And most soldiers will choose to fight to the death. And so at this point, the soldiers are unified, they're galvanized, they're energized, and then they find a surge of energy to go and destroy their enemy. Okay, this is the most popular military stratagem in ancient Chinese history, and guess what? It's the same as Israel doing this right now in Gaza. It's the same logic.
And I've explained that if you sign up for digital ID, it'll be the last really important decision you make, because your digital ID will be the only thing that your governments, institutions, and anybody authorized by those holding power will recognize you through. So you won't exist anymore. You'll be replaced by a QR code. You are not a number, you're an address to some resources. And that makes it particularly dangerous because those resources can be edited, and one of those fields for sure will be your vaccination status. And I'm absolutely sure, because I've seen it written down in multiple documents, that your digital ID will only remain valid if you comply with the conditions of validity. So one of them will be, have you had your latest recommended or mandated jabs? And because of the fact that I'm qualified in toxicology and worked for decades with others in what's called rational drug design, when I look at these jabs, the constituents, I am certain, formally certain, that they were designed to hurt you. And so, the digital ID will lose validity unless you roll your sleeve up. You must see that's designed to injure and I believe ultimately kill.
Do you really think that it's our brain that produces thoughts? Why is it that with the same brain, right? Same neurological structure, but we have different ideas? And why is it that I have so many ideas and others have limited ideas? Well,
I do not normally comment on your mainstream news line of weirdness because the way that events are staged, propagated, nitpicked, argued over, clickbait, etc. There are two things going on right now, though, that cross right into my world, me, Sabrina Wallace. For the 3 years I've been online, not a one of your talking heads has been able to be honest about the systems, the engineered systems, that I discuss and educate about.
Like, biologically, we cannot explain it, okay? We've never explained it. So if you study neuroscience, one thing that they will never ever ask is, where do our thoughts come from? Which is weird because that should be the most basic question, right? That's the first question you ask, but they never ask that. Why? Because they cannot answer it. And the answer, the possibility is that Geist exists, and our ideas come from the Geist. And when we think of ideas, it goes back into the Geist, right? It's a ghost. It is with us and it is not with us.
Okay, let's listen to this. Effective immediately, the FDA will be notifying physicians that the use of well, let's see how we say that. Acetaminophen. Is that okay? Which is basically commonly known as Tylenol. Don't take it. With Tylenol, don't take it. Don't take it. Don't use Tylenol. Don't take Tylenol. Don't take Tylenol. Fight like hell not to take it. I think you shouldn't take it. Don't take Tylenol. The baby goes, gets a shot. They say, here, take a cup of Tylenol. I've heard that for years. Take Tylenol. Don't take Tylenol. Don't have your baby take Tylenol. Don't give Tylenol to the baby. Don't give Tylenol to the baby. Don't give your baby Tylenol. Don't take Tylenol. Don't take Tylenol. Don't take Tylenol. Don't take it. Don't take it. So, that's it. There's nothing much to say. Don't take Tylenol. Just don't take it.
Don't fucking panic, Bob. Keep your shit together.
What up, nigga?
Excuse me?
Chill out, I'm not a cop. Just in town for the night. Me and my boys looking to get our freak on.
There are no hands on the clock.
Why?
Because they're not needed.
What time is it?
Don't try to test me. I keep it clean, but it could get messy. I talk to God every day. That's my bestie. They playing soccer in my backyard. I think I see Messi, and his money could never neglect me. I pray that my family will never resent me, and she fell in love with me soon as she met me. We both got a bad, but my bag is more heavy. We had to stop counting, it's getting too petty. You not a real stepper, you can't overstep me. Just sit back and listen and watch how he bless me. He wait till I fall and then pull up and catch me. Your check is too small, you can't pull up and check me. Nah.
God damn it! Viva la revolution!
You really got me now. You got me so I can't sleep at night. Yeah, you really got me now. You got me so I don't know what I'm doing. Oh.
The only thing that matters is right now. This moment. This one spectacular moment we are sharing together. Right, Sarah Lynn? Sarah Lynn? Sarah Lynn?
Killing when I'm barring. Brothers in the hood just like the movie that I'm starring. Service in my whip, I phone the boss to bring my car in. I could probably take a trick, but I just wouldn't cause
brain-to-machine interface is a system that allows a brain to directly communicate with a robot or computer. A necessary part of a brain-to-machine interface is an external EEG or, for a more advanced connection, a brain implant. The computer or robot controlled by a brain-to-machine interface can be very local, such as a computerized prosthetic arm, or extremely distant. Experiments to date have included paralyzed individuals controlling robot arms and typing on computer screens with their thoughts, and even featured rat neurons piloting flight simulators. Communication does not need to be only in the direction of brain to machine. Information sent from machine to brain has already been used to create sensations of touch. In theory, brain-to-machine interfaces open up the possibility of avatar technology, not simply controlling an external limb or a computer screen, but controlling an entire artificial you, allowing you to be effectively in two places at the same time. But for long-distance travel, be warned, it might be a bit disorienting as you experience an 8-minute delay between your thoughts on Earth and your avatar's movements on Mars. Would you want to explore Paris with a robotic avatar while your biological body lounged on the couch? Or take a nice hike while you mentally controlled your work computer? Watch where you're going. Even if you are in two places at once, your attention might not be.
This technology manipulates the electrical signals in the brain, thus controlling thoughts and feelings and emotions and sensations throughout the body. It works by rewiring the brain by creating new neural pathways and destroying existing neural pathways. Thus, this literally changes the way a person thinks and thus behaves. This technology can also be used to control the muscle movement of the target. It can take over one's hands or feet while driving and make you press on the accelerator or press on the brake or turn. This can be used to cause accidents. It can also be used to prevent accidents from happening. This technology can also tap into the optical nerve of the target and the auditory system of the target, so that those monitoring the target can see what the target is seeing and hear what the target is hearing. This information is then downloaded and stored on a computer in a highly secure, classified site on servers that are guarded by some of the tightest security in the world. This results in the individual's entire day, everything they see, everything they hear, everything they experience.
Lose control.
Baseline, melodies, got me in a chokehold. Take these, hit this, sip some.
Lose control.
Baseline, melodies, got me in a chokehold. All day, all night, can't we
lose control?
Feel it in my soul. Equilibrium, little high, little low. I ain't worried about the Wi-Fi code. Living in the moment till I get home. You ain't gotta get too close. Don't come around if you can't take a joke. I ain't tripping if you're rich or you're broke.
Oh yeah. Totally better than Nirvana.
There will be another crisis. It will be more significant, and we need to actually start preparing for that now. When we do see this next crisis, it will be faster than what we've seen with COVID. The exponential growth rate will climb, be much steeper. The impact will be greater. And as a result, the economic and social implications will be even more significant.
Even more significant? What is this next crisis that we just heard Jeremy Jurgens, Harvard-educated managing director of the World Economic Forum, describing? Well, now let's hear from Klaus Schwab himself.
We all know, but still pay insufficient attention to the frightening scenario of a comprehensive cyber attack, which would bring to a complete halt to the power supply, transportation, hospital services, our society as a whole. The COVID-19 crisis would be seen in this respect as a small disturbance in comparison to a major cyber attack.
to use the COVID-19 crisis as a timely opportunity to reflect on the lessons the cybersecurity community can draw and improve our preparedness for a potential cyber pandemic.
Yes, a cyber pandemic. And before we even talk about what that is, I just want to again appreciate that we just heard two leaders of the World Economic Forum promise that we are going to have a new crisis soon that dwarfs COVID, which has already spelled the end of the world as we know it.
You tell them I'm coming, and hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me!
Say when.
Hey, bitch, I'm from Texas, where we still riding swangers and put diamonds in our necklace.
This is outrageous, and I'm pretty furious about it, but I did want to come in and report what I just learned from a high-level source. This is confirmed, by the way, at the highest levels, that this is about to happen. The FBI, according to my source, is about to wrap up their investigation into the assassination of Charlie Kirk. They're done. And they are set to announce that Tyler Robinson is the lone gunman. End of story. Move along. Nothing to see here. That is what the FBI is set to announce. Here we are just 7 days afterwards, and they are ready to come out and make this report. So nothing to see here. Move along. Don't question anything. You know, all of you, Green Berets and sniper experts and ballistics experts that have so many questions about the trajectory of the bullet. Was it fired by a person on the roof? Doesn't look like it to you at all.
And I'm willing to kind of throw it off as coincidental because we already have our answer to kind of direction of the bullet. It's quite literally not possible to do what was done from a straight on shot. It doesn't happen. And I would say there's not two shooters. I would say there's a single shooter.
Don't ask questions. You're done.
He got hit at the base of the skull here, probably, right? And so we're talking. This is immediate incapacitation. He didn't die from blood loss. He died instantly.
The FBI is about to tell you no more questions. Lone gunman, Tyler Robinson on the roof. It's outrageous. It's outrageous. 7 days? I mean, who knows exactly when they're going to make this announcement that they're done? It's coming. You know, Kash Patel needs a victory after being so embarrassed in the early days, arresting individuals, letting them go, telling all of us that he caught them and then having to let them go, testifying before Congress the other day and making a fool of himself, telling the world that the FBI is now the most transparent organization that it's ever been. I mean, it's laughable, and he lied right to Congress, and then Thomas Massie has to call him out right to his face about lying to Congress? Okay, so 7 days. We're getting a wrap-up of this investigation. Tyler Robinson is the lone gunman. Thanks, FBI. May I remind you that January 6th, 4 years ago, is still not done. Technically, there are cases still open for the January 6th investigation. For the 1,500 people or 2,000 that entered the Capitol building. There were 3,000 people at Charlie Kirk's event.
The tent, so it would be in the camp, and they just moved. What was that?
Oh my God! He just got shot! Holy shit! Holy shit!
4 years later, you're still investigating January 6th, but in 7 days, you're done? You've taken police statements from everyone there. You've concluded without a shadow of a doubt it was this guy. He's your guy. Great. Then please release the other 10 seconds of video that you haven't released to us so far that shows him in a prone position on the rooftop firing this weapon. Because in your YouTube video, FBI, right in the FBI's YouTube video, it says clear as day, he shot and killed Charlie Kirk. You didn't know his name at the time, but you were certain this guy shot and killed Charlie Kirk, but yet in the video, we only see him running. You don't show us the beginning of the video at all. Where's the gun? Is that a gun that he's carrying off the roof? Others say no, it's simply a hoodie that he has in his hands. All they found was a screwdriver on the roof. And they conveniently found this bolt-action rifle in the woods. Great. Don't ask questions anymore. Forget the 10 seconds of missing video. You don't need to see him actually pull the trigger. We're done. Stop asking questions. He didn't have any help. He wasn't radicalized by some group anywhere. It was just him with a grudge. Oh, and by the way, new photos emerging of him going to McDonald's at 6:30 at night afterwards, and he went to great lengths to change his clothes, ditch his clothes. So he's back into the clothes that people saw him wearing earlier, and he's just casually having dinner at McDonald's at 6:30 at night, where there's cameras everywhere. He went to such great lengths to avoid cameras all day. So he goes to a McDonald's? Didn't he learn anything from Luigi Mangione, who was caught at a McDonald's, sitting in the back in a disguise? Even that disguise didn't help him at McDonald's. I mean, you want to go to a restaurant that has more cameras, good luck. Probably CIA headquarters cafe has more cameras than McDonald's, but that's probably it. So, I mean, I'm furious about it. I'm outraged about it. You're done. You've examined all the cameras on that campus, the hundreds of high-definition security cameras that are all over the campus. We've been told that he's not even cooperating. We spoke to a prosecutor today. He said the big tell here is that he hasn't confessed anything. He hasn't confessed anything. He's not talking. He's not communicating. So you feel that your evidence is overwhelming. He acted alone. Done. Case closed. You've looked through the text messages with his tranny lover, and that's all. You're good. No, nothing else to see here. You've examined all the Turning Points USA video camera footage, the one that was in front of him to the left, the one that was behind him facing out. You've interviewed all of these individuals. You're good to go. Great. So, I mean, I just don't know what kind of world we live in right now. I'm just so furious about this. I'm outraged. And I know a lot of other people are outraged about this, but yeah, hey, all of you, you sniper experts, you Green Berets out there who've said he clearly was not shot from the front, he was shot from the side, went through his neck, killed him instantly, and went out the other side. We don't want to hear from you anymore because according to the FBI, he was shot from the front, and that's all you need to know. We're done. We're done here. Oh, and by the way, he was such a good shot. He managed to get off this shot, and he was in a full sprint less than 3 seconds later, and people hadn't even ducked yet. People hadn't even ducked and reacted to the gunshot, but this guy was already in a full sprint across the roof. Okay, he's not a patsy. He's a lone gunman, just like Lee Harvey Oswald. Stop asking any questions. The FBI is done. So I just had to come in and report this news. So I guess we'll wait for the confirmation from the FBI to release this statement pretty soon. But this is outrageous. Once again, the FBI, they are a dirty, dirty, dirty organization. We thought maybe they'd be purged. No, not at all. They are absolutely dirty. Thank you guys. Thanks for subscribing. And I guess we're done here, right? Nothing to see.
Fuck off!
Who's that guy?
It's just some rude motherfucker who I say hi to every time and never says hi back!
Respect the cock. And tame the cunt.
There are stories of coincidence, chance, and intersections and strange things told. And which is which, who only knows. It is in the humble opinion of this narrator that strange things happen all the time.
I'm quietly judging you.
I do have love to give.
There's no one but me and you! No one! Now that I've met you, would you object to never seeing me again?
Go away, you fucking head.
And so it goes, and so it goes, and the book says, we may be through with the past, but the past ain't through with us.
The following tape is designated Clearance Level 4 under V0L Corp security protocols. Unauthorized access is punishable under Corporate Statute 7-1. This is Incident Report Log DB 20-1.
Anything you've ever said or done in the vicinity of your phone's camera or microphone, everything you've ever put into your phone, and even things that are not necessarily so scandalous, but even things like your favorite restaurants, your geolocation, because your phone also has a GPS. They know where you are at all times. They know where you go and when. They know what you buy. They have access to your bank account. AI will literally know everything about you. Everyone you know, your relationship to them, your tastes, your preferences, your habits, your whereabouts, your routines, your schedule, when you're asleep. They know how much REM sleep you're getting. They know your resting heart rate. They know how many calories you consume. Think about the ways that they can manipulate you. You have a computer in your refrigerator, computer in your car, computer in your home security system, computer in your everything. Computer in your clothes, your watch, your glasses, your VR headset, your alarm clock. You have a smart home, economy of things. It's like total rape of everybody by the system forever.
Start checking me off some big fucking boxes. Attitude. 4. Performance. 4. Management skills. 4. Works well with others. Ha! That's a fucking joke. What is this bullshit? Who's this prick? Some loser gets his head blown off in the metropolitan. Shut the fuck up!
This is a long hesitation.
You sit in this little apartment, you don't have anyone over, and you consume the internet. Get online more and more and more and more. It's a tiny little cell that you live in, and then you radicalize yourself on the internet. Some of us are schizophrenics, go do crazy things, then the draconian surveillance and police state comes in. They don't have an interest in people having a yard. They don't want you outside. They don't want you outside. It doesn't help them out. Putting your phone on, in a drawer and going outside and sitting down with 6 people and having dinner and talking about your community isn't helpful to them. It doesn't make any sense. They want you on the phone. in a cell that you rent. They want you paying more and more money every year for a cell. And all of these companies related, you know, all of these mega conglomerate corporate landlords, everything's a mall. They build these malls, and then on top of them, they have apartments that cost $6,000 a month to live on top of insomnia cookies, pig.
Well, DoorDash really easy. They just throw the cookie in the window.
It's disgusting. No one should live like this. No one's supposed to live like this. And everybody thinks it's okay or it's whatever. What did Jimmy Kimmel say? You're paying a lot of money to live in a cell. You can't have friends over. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting for most of you.
I am announcing this government will make a new free-of-charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work by the end of this Parliament. Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID. It's as simple as that.
Mapping and recording our daily routines, making a more secure and more invasive system. But who else is listening?
Do you have cell phones? You have cell phones here? No? You're holding a piece of Israel right there. You know that? I mean, a lot of the cell phones, the medicines, the food, you eat cherry tomatoes. You know where that was made? We're pretty good at producing weapons. Like intelligence, we share both with the United States. A good chunk of your intel.
This morning, the U.S. Secret Service believes it disrupted a plot that could have collapsed the entire telecommunications system in New York City. And law enforcement sources tell ABC News it's believed to be connected to the Chinese government. Officials say several individuals, including at least one with direct access to the president, began receiving threats this spring. In recent weeks, investigators tracked those threats to multiple locations in and around New York, where they said they seized hundreds of servers and more than 100,000 SIM cards, enough equipment to send 30 million anonymous text messages every minute. Overwhelming communications.
They found empty apartments with servers and server walls capable of making millions and millions of phone calls in and around New York City and the world that could potentially cripple New York City and other parts of the world.
There are no arrests yet. The apartments where the equipment was found were empty. Investigators suspect the alleged plot is the work of a well-organized and well-funded group that law enforcement sources say is believed to be linked to China. Now, the Secret Service is still working to determine what all the equipment was meant to do and whether there was a specific target. But as one official put it, guys, the potential for disruption to the country's telecommunications posed by this network of devices cannot be overstated.
Why do we have school? Why are we in school? Why? Why are you here? What?
Someplace, learn and teach.
Exactly, right? Learn. What else? Yeah, to get the degree, okay? To get the degree, okay, to graduate. What else? Knowledge, yes. Yeah.
Power, chance to brainwash the students.
Excuse me?
I feel like give a power a chance to brainwash our
Brainwashing. Okay, guess what, guys? The correct answer is brainwashing. Everything else is a lie. Okay. All right. What do you do in school? You come to class, you listen to a lecture, you read books, right? And then you have to do a test, and you have to write a paper, and then the teacher gives you a grade. That's how you learn, right? Let me ask you this question then. Throughout most of human history, how did we learn? If you want to become a doctor, what did you do? The answer is experience. Do it. Right? Let me ask you this question. Let's say you're 12 years old. You're going to be a doctor, okay? There are two paths ahead of you. The first path is, you know what? I'm going to put you in a hospital, And you're gonna learn there for like 10 years. Someone's gonna mentor you. You're gonna be that person's apprentice. Maybe the first year, all you do is like wash the floor, okay? But you're gonna observe the doctor. And then eventually the doctor's going in to tell you how to treat patients, okay? That's the first system. Second system is you go to the best school in the world. Then you go to Harvard for undergraduate. Then you go to Harvard Medical School, the best medical school in the world, okay? At age 30, who's a better doctor, number 1 or number 2?
First one.
Obviously the first one, right? Because the second person, the person who went to Harvard and Harvard Medical School, did not ever work in a hospital. You understand? Now, let me ask you another question. In the first system, do you have to be really, really smart to be a good doctor?
No.
You don't, actually. Anyone can be a doctor in the first system. Anyone. We human beings are all born with the capacity to learn anything if you wanted to learn it, right? You want to be an engineer, you want to be a lawyer, if you want to be a doctor, if you want to be a scientist, you want to be anything, okay? Just go find a mentor who can teach you how to do so. And I guarantee you that you will learn how to do it well. And anyone can do this. But instead, we have a system in which we tell students, you're smart, you're stupid. Smart students go to good schools and good universities, and they get good jobs. Stupid students go wash dishes. Okay? And that was not true for most of human history. It's true today, but throughout most of human history, if you had to go learn something, all you had to do was go find a teacher. And that teacher would teach you, and then you would learn it. Right?
You really want me to shake your hand? I insist. If you insist.
Sure that's him?
Yeah.
Positive?
I don't know.
You don't know if you're positive?
I don't know what positive means.
It means you're sure.
Yes.
Yes, what?
Yes, I'm sure that's Ellis Brittle.
Autism is a choice. Here's the autism spectrum, and all of us fall in it, right? Where do you think I fall in the spectrum, huh? Wait a second. Who's that? That's me. Is that Royce? I'm all the way over here. I'm not on the spectrum. Because I choose to not be there. I choose to not be autistic. You probably think I'm here, or here, or here. I'm all the way over here, man. Well, you get the point. You get the point. Let's get back to talking about which foods have the weirdest textures. We were on old bread, right? We got crunchy and slimy. Only when it's wet, right? It can only be slimy if it's wet. Why don't you come up to the board?
I believe in socialized medicine. It's the best.
One of the things about the whole mental health conversation is even a crazy person can call you crazy.
Even a crazy person can call you crazy.
If you guys want these crazy ideas, these crazy stages, this crazy music, and this crazy way of thinking, there's a chance it might come from a crazy person.
His account should be shut down, it should be stopped. But posting endless, vile, anti-Semitic insults can cause many people a lot of pain.
They knew that we were right, but they suppressed it. Now we come to the vaccines. The COVID messenger RNA vaccines and cancer is what the bit I really want to bang on about here. Because first of all, with the COVID vaccines, the messenger RNA, that from my point of view, I was never happy about the vaccines because all that data I showed you, that spike protein everybody used to make the vaccine from, 80% of it is human epitopes, i.e. it's identical. we said that the epitopes are so identical that the platelet factor 4, which if you've got antibodies to it, involve clotting and platelet problems, and myelin, which goes with Guillain-Barré and all the other neurological things, were 100%. So this was guaranteed if you gave it. Again, we did the warning. Again, they decided to ignore us. And it's even on the MHRA website that these two are very rare. No, they're not. I know lots of people with these problems. But I want to go focus onto the cancer vaccines, the implication of cancers. I, in my clinic, noted after the boosters were introduced, I did not notice this before, after the boosters were introduced, I was seeing melanoma patients. I had been treated successfully immunotherapy of 5, 10, up to 18 years, who came into the clinic and they had relapsed, or they were showing evidence of relapse, and we confirmed their relapse. Now, I've seen this before, but it's usually always in people who've had sudden, severe depression and immune suppression that goes with it. Usually death, bereavement, divorce, bankruptcy, or something like that. None of these patients had had that. So I go, what have you had? What's gone on? And every case, I found that they had been forced to have a booster against their better need. And it was, then I pointed this out, and I was told to shut up because I was upsetting the patients. I checked with my other colleagues, and I found that colleagues in Australia, South Africa, America, Canada were all seeing exactly the same thing. But from my point of view, I was seeing the cancer, and the other people were seeing it. And I wanted to know why. Well, I developed cancer vaccines and HIV vaccines all my life, and one thing I knew, if a vaccine needs a booster, it doesn't work. So here we had clear evidence of relapse following the boosters, and when you overstimulate things, you cause immune suppression. A group from the States and others showed that after the booster, you get T-cell suppression. In fact, one of the groups brilliantly called it T-cell exhaustion. So you got rid of the T-cells. Then other groups showed there was IgG class switching. Just let me tell you what this is. In a vaccine, you boost antibodies that will neutralize and kill the virus. When you do the booster, you switch those antibodies to those that say, no, we've done our bit, calm down. They tolerate the response, and this is exactly what you want when you have a transplant. You want tolerization. So all of a sudden, we've got evidence that these vaccines suppress the T-cell response, tolerize the IgG. This is the perfect milieu for cancer to pop up. And then more recently, we found there's a whole range of things that have been discovered, all of which could induce cancer, some of them later on. So this is why I've got so vocal about this. The other thing is that if you keep doing these boosters, you will get this same chronic inflammatory suppression of the immune response. It'll get worse and worse. I mean, my simple thing is ban all messenger RNA vaccines. Never, ever, ever. And now I've looked into it a lot more carefully. There's a lot more vaccines that need very careful re-evaluation before they should be pulled as well.
I was there at the beginning with HIV, and I was there in 1984 when Fauci promised a vaccine in 18 months' time, and 40 years later we still don't have it. So I've been through all this, and I was a co-discoverer of the CD4 receptor, which is how I got involved in COVID in the first place. That my colleagues, collaborators, with whom we'd actually done a very good HIV vaccine, and it's we've published and everything on it. Fauci continued to ignore it for reasons I've only just started to realize more recently. But we are asked to help do a vaccine along the same lines. And my first thing with vaccine is less is more. The less you put into the vaccine, the more likely it is to work. And everybody went for the spike protein. Now, when we analyzed the spike protein, we found it had, and we wrote this all down, we had terrible trouble publishing it. We couldn't publish it for 3 months. It was turned down by every journal. We found out there were 6 inserts plus the furin cleavage site. And the importance of this is these inserts all gave the virus a charge, a pH of 8 as opposed to normal of 6, which meant it was highly charged and acted like a fridge magnet going onto the fridge, really hyper infectability for human cells. The second thing that we did was blast analysis. And we pointed out the spike protein had 80% homology to human epitopes. And some of these were virtually 100%, like platelet factor 4, which would give you horrible clotting issues, and myelin, which would give you Guillain-Barré, etc. All these things have turned out to be true. We prepared a document, we gave it to our government here through Gove. I know it was discussed in Cabinet, went to Sage, Whitty and Balance, and they all decided to ignore it. So that's where I came from. So I was furious about that because we knew there would be significant side effects. It was just how bad would it be? Well, step forward, we know that we had the problems, and Peter was the first to call the myocarditis, stroke problems, etc. And others came out with a variety of things. And when they started to roll the vaccine down to the 50s and 40s, I mean, I protested like mad and went berserk when they just suggested giving it to children, when it was the average age of death was 82. I mean, the whole thing was like a dystopian Orwellian nightmare we were descending into. But what brought me into this group very much was the boosters. And I've done a lot of work in vaccines over the year, the Institute of Cancer Vaccines Immunotherapy, which I'm a principal of. And we have an adage that if a vaccine needs a booster, it doesn't work. Come on, my goodness, does that never been more true than in this case? And patients who have been given these boosters, which I said were boosting against a virus that left the planet at least a year ago, and because it was a Coxsackie virus, anybody who's read the history of Coxsackie virus development knows you get a thing called antigenic sin or immunological imprinting. So it doesn't matter how many variants you vaccinate against, the immune system only sees the first virus that's disappeared. So it just produces lots of useless antibodies. But more importantly, the booster suppresses the T-cell response. And that's where I came in. I started to see in my melanoma clinic patients who've been stable for years who suddenly came in relapsed. Sometimes the relapse was quite vicious. I mean, they had very bad disease. We had to retreat them all over again. And the only thing they had in common, we're used to severe depression and divorce, debt, bereavement, etc., suppressing the immune system and losing control of the cancers. But none of my patients had this whatsoever. They'd all been bullied by their GPs to have a booster just to be safe. And then I found that there were a lot of people coming down with lymphomas, leukemias, all of them had the booster. And I had 3 friends who only had the booster so they could travel after being locked down for 2 or 3 years. All 3 of them are relapsed and 2 of them have died. So we couldn't even treat these cancers. That was the other big rate. They didn't even respond to the standard treatment. So that is why I've got really, really vocal. I believe that using messenger RNA technology for infectious disease is basically a gross medical negligence. It really is criminal negligence, now knowing what we do. And it's even worse, the fact that every time I've raised it with everybody. I've been carpeted by the hospital, been carpeted by the Royal College of Physicians, told to be quiet and that I'm upsetting the patients. And I said, no, I'm not upsetting the patients. I'm doing my job. First, do no harm. And I am like the canary in the gold mine. I am seeing harm and we must stop now. So I'll just leave that as my message and a big stop there.
I think the truth is, in a way, honestly, the feeling sometimes is what can you possibly add to the work? Because what you want is for all of yourself to be in the work and to sort of disappear into it. So,
sure. So
that's there, and then, you know, what can you add to it? I'm not sure.
I mean, where the fuck should I really even start? I got hoes that I'm keeping in the dark. I got my niggas across the street living large. Thinking back to the fact that they dead, thought my raps wasn't facts, so they sat with the bars.
God damn it! Viva la revolution! May the force be with you! And are you okay? You okay? Are you okay? You okay? And are you okay? Are you okay, Annie?
Not one thing, it's another.
Since shutting down Pfizer was unthinkable, Pfizer and the feds cut a deal. And here's how they did it. Pfizer, located here in New York, owns a company named Pharmacia Corporation, which owns another company called Pharmacia and Upjohn LLC, which owns Pharmacia and Upjohn Company LLC, which in turn owns Pharmacia and Upjohn Company Incorporated. And what does Pharmacia and Upjohn Company Incorporated do? Nothing. It's a shell created to be a legal shield for Pfizer. In other words, if Pfizer was at risk of being convicted, the shell company would take the hit. Think of it as the great-great-grandson of the parent company. Birthday, March 27, 2007. Just in time to plead guilty in a kickback case against a company Pfizer had acquired a few years earlier. With that conviction, Pharmacia and Upjohn Company Incorporated, which had never sold so much as a single pill, was excluded from Medicare. 2 years later, when Pfizer was in trouble with Dexter, Pharmacia and Upjohn Company Incorporated, the shell company, stepped up again and pleaded guilty. It was like having an imaginary friend, an imaginary bad guy, to take the rap. And Pfizer, too big to nail, is still doing business with the federal government.
It is true that if a company is created to take a criminal plea, but it's just a shell, the impact of an exclusion is minimal or non-existent.
Did the punishment fit the crime? Pfizer says yes. It paid nearly $1.2 billion in a criminal fine for Dexter, the largest fine ever. It paid $1 billion more to settle civil suits, although it denies wrongdoing on allegations it illegally promoted 12 other drugs. In all, Pfizer lost the equivalent of 3 months' profit. But even Mike Laux, who spent more than a decade prosecuting some of the largest drug companies in the country, isn't sure that $2 billion is enough to make Big Pharma clean up its act.
I worry that the incentives are so great, the money is so great, that has maybe made it, dealing with us, the Department of Justice, as just a cost of doing business.
So, Drew, what does Pfizer have to say about all this?
Anderson, nothing on camera. After a lot of back and forth, we got a phone conversation with the company's chief compliance officer. He told us, look, Pfizer takes full responsibility for illegally promoting Dexter, and to prevent it from happening again, here's what Pfizer said it's done. It's set up a leading-edge system. It monitors sales reps, tracking prescription sales and proactively looking for signs that its people are illegally promoting these drugs.
So is Pfizer doing this voluntarily?
No, not all voluntary. Pfizer, they had to sign what's called a corporate integrity agreement with the Department of Health and Human Services. Basically, the executives at Pfizer have to sign on the dotted line to say that their company is going to comply with the law.
But, I mean, you look at this thing, and, I mean, if Pfizer is too big to fail, and even the biggest fine in history is just a few months' profit, then what's going to stop it from illegally promoting other drugs?
Critics say, Anderson, nothing. Nothing. They think that this is really, even though it's a big, big fine, you know, what, $2 billion, they say, look, it is a cost of doing business. And until, even the prosecutor, until and unless somebody goes to prison, somebody high up goes to prison, and or the company is banned from selling drugs to Medicare or Medicaid, this activity, like it has in the past with so many other companies, will continue.
If you look at the history, you'll find out that Hamas was encouraged and really started by Israel because they wanted Hamas to counteract Yasser Arafat. You say, well, yeah, that was better then and served its purpose, but we didn't want Hamas to do this. So then we as Americans say, well, we have such a good system, we're going to impose this on the world. We're going to invade Iraq and teach people how to be Democrats. We want free elections. So we encourage the Palestinians to have a free election. They do, and they elect Hamas. So we first, indirectly and directly through Israel, help establish Hamas. Then we have an election. Then Hamas becomes dominant, so we have to kill them. You know, it just doesn't make sense. During the 80s, you know, we were allied with Osama bin Laden. And we were contending with the Soviets. It was at that time our CAA thought it was good if we radicalized the Muslim world. So we financed the madrasa schools to radicalize the Muslims in order to compete with the Soviets. There's too much blowback. There's a lot of reasons why we should oppose this resolution. It is not in the interest of the United States. It's not in the interest of Israel either.
We can go if we want to. Night is young and so am I. And we can dress real neat from our hearts to our feet and surprise them with a victory cry. Say we can act if we want to. If we don't, nobody will.
And you can act real rude and totally removed, and I can act like an imbecile. I say, we can dance, everything's out of control. We can dance, we're doing it from pole to pole. We can dance, everybody look at your hands. We can dance, everybody's taking the chance. Safe to dance, oh, it's safe to dance. Yes, it's safe to dance.
So you may not know a lot about Palantir Technologies, but I'll tell you this, Palantir knows pretty much everything about you. It's a secretive data mining company. They've got close ties to Israeli intelligence that builds surveillance for software for the CIA, for the military, for police departments, for ICE, even for health agencies. Its two main platforms are Gotham and Foundry, and these things pull in massive amounts of data to create a very detailed portrait of you, of your life. It pulls in your financial transactions, your internet activity, license plate scans. It grabs your social media posts. If you've got immigration records, it gets that. It gets your medical history. It all goes in. And Palantir software then uses that information to profile people like you, to forecast your behavior, and to guide real-time decisions about you. And it can be used different ways. It can be used for marketing to you, but it also can track you as if you're a criminal. In cities like New Orleans, LA, New York, Palantir is already being used in predictive policing. Doesn't really matter if you've done anything wrong. Does not matter. If someone in your network that it has created for you has done something wrong, or if you fit in some kind of suspicious pattern, you can be flagged as a risk. And they don't have to tell you. You'll never know this. And there are consequences. Sometimes people apply for loans that get denied. They don't know why. Maybe a visa has been rejected. It's happening to people as a result of this. Some people will get a knock on the door. They're the cops standing there. They've come. No explanation about how they knew this stuff. Your life could be derailed by this invisible system because it said that you look dangerous. It figured that you've got this profile. Well, Orwell foresaw this exact nightmare. Here's what he wrote in 1984. He said, "It was terribly dangerous to let your thoughts wander when you were in any public place or within range of a telescreen." So today, that telescreen, that's your smartphone. That's your smart TV. That's your car's GPS. And the data that it generates, which is constantly being analyzed. So this is not some futuristic thing. This is happening right now. I remember back in the 90s, and you may remember this, Steven Spielberg's movie Minority Report. This is where you've got police using psychics to arrest people before they've even committed a crime. Well, today, algorithms have replaced that concept of the psychics. And instead of a jury, you're found guilty by a machine. Instead of a trial, you get flagged. And so like Tom Cruise's character in the movie, you could end up forced to fight allegations of a crime that you haven't committed because some program said that you probably were going to do it. Now, who created this monstrosity? It was created by billionaire Peter Thiel. It was funded by the CIA's In-Q-Tel program. Who is this guy? Thiel is a longtime supporter of Israel. He donated $1.25 million to Donald Trump's 2016 campaign. He dumped in another $250 million to, or maybe it wasn't $250 million, a lot of money in the 2018 PAC. So I'll have to look up the figure. But after that, after buying this influence in the Trump administration, he just opened the floodgates. And Palantir gets all of these massive, massive government contracts from ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, to the Department of Defense, the DOD. And so what this means is that your data, your personal life, is now in the hands of a company that has deep links to Israeli surveillance. The same tactics that are being used right now and have been used for years in the occupied territories of Palestine. This is where Palestinian citizens are being tracked using facial recognition, using their biometrics, using predictive threat modeling that results in Israeli drone strikes against these people, innocent people trying to go about their daily lives. Some hellfire rains down from above from an Israeli jet or a drone, kills them because this AI said that they fit a certain pattern. Well, those same surveillance tools that are being used against the people of Gaza is being used against you. Is the day approaching when drones are going to be sent after you? Who thought we'd be where we are at this point?
Humankind cannot gain anything without first giving something in return. To obtain, something of equal value must be lost. That is alchemy's first law of equivalent exchange.
And this can be used to cause or stop, induce riots, stop crime, start crime, stop thoughts, start thoughts. Massive mind control on a citywide level. And I know for a fact, having been an insider and actually been a part of this program and seen it operate on a day-to-day basis, I am aware that there are now entire cities in America that are nothing more but a massive social engineering experiment.
There are field effects where they will not direct this technology at an individual, but create a general field of frequency in a geographical area so that everybody that within that geographical area is feeling the effects of the technology. It's more of a general application of the technology instead of an individual specific application of the technology. And I have seen this done, and it is remarkable how effective it is, because you will walk down the street of Seattle and literally see people all in a bad mood, all at the same time, and they do not know each other. And then you go over a block or two to a different office building and you walk in and the exact same thing's going on there. It's very, very concerning. So within that then, that overall bubble or area of frequency where everybody, let's say, is in a bad mood, they can still inject what would be a individual specific frequency to the targeted individual themselves. Let's say the homeless person in Seattle that's being experimented on 24 hours a day. So they will be under the influence of the general agitated mood or bad mood that everybody else is in, and then they can more further be manipulated by the frequency that's being directed solely at them.
Maybe more than any other city, Seattle, Washington seems to represent what America is becoming. Amazon, Microsoft, Starbucks are all based in the city or its suburbs. Jeff Bezos, the richest man in the world, lives there. But along with unfathomable wealth, there is also desperate poverty and widespread degradation. Seattle's homeless population is surging. The city is suffocating under garbage produced by hundreds of homeless camps. Local news broadcasts recently grabbed national headlines by warning that Seattle is dying. The city becomes unlivable for regular families.
Do you think drugs are one of the primary drivers of homelessness?
I think mental health is the foundation of a lot of addiction and other things.
Homelessness is complicated. Drugs aren't the only cause. Take a look at this picture of people living in broken down RVs. In the background, the world headquarters of Starbucks. Like most of the West Coast, Seattle's economic boom has not been distributed evenly. Not close. When wages at the low end of the economic spectrum fail to keep up with the rising cost of living, you wind up with a place where people living in their cars are flanked by billionaires like Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates. So what causes homelessness?
Everything that's done by this program is meant to have a psychological effect, and the psychological effect is meant to complement the effect that the technology is having on the individual. so that they are brought to a place in their life where they're isolated, they're broke, they're unemployed, they have no family, they have no friends, and nobody in the general public can track or trace anything that's being done to them because the technology is remote and it's wireless, and there's usually no physical signs left on the individual that anything is being done to them.
City elites have launched a coordinated information campaign targeted at voters frustrated with the city's response to homelessness. Earlier this month, leaked documents revealed that a group of prominent nonprofits, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and Campion Advocacy Group Fund, the Rakes Foundation, and the Ballmer Group hired a PR firm, Pyramid Communications, to conduct polling, create messaging, and disseminate the resulting content through a network of silent partners in academia, the press, government, and the nonprofit sector. The campaign, hashtag Seattle for All, is a case study in what writer James Lindsay calls idea laundering.
Very real risk that you are going to become a full-blown 24/7 targeted individual. And this technology at that point, when it is nationwide, will be used by automated computers, supercomputer software programming.
You understand now? Smart guy?
I'm asking.
So, again, letting people yell at you like that is not masculine. And a woman, do you think he's masculine? Would you want this man around you if 10 guys jumped you? He'd run, and you'd have to run with him. I like my women to feel safe when they're around me. I don't tell people, like, and I'm not saying that's your way, but you're just not masculine. I've seen him run. I looked at a whole reel of, there's like a thing that says how many people bark. There's stuff that how many times you talk about other people's genitals. You real masculine men don't do that. You said that some guys was throwing you kisses because they liked your paw's butt, and you went back. That's gay.
Why do you have such a problem with gay
I don't have a problem. I have a problem with you. Wait. No. Yeah, that is why I pause. There's a lot of people like you. There's a lot of people like you that are gay that pretend they're not. And that's not fair because you're running around. Stop. You're here. You're representing a black man, and I don't want white people.
Black men can't be gay.
You're representing.
Hold on, answer the question. Black men can't be gay?
Black men that are gay should say they're gay.
Well, I'm not gay.
You are.
Well, hello folks. I want to make this video today to discuss with you briefly this recent event in Las Vegas at the Sphere called The End of Genesis. And you can see there the poster for the event, rather disturbing again. This propaganda that we are seeing over and over again that is being pushed more and more on this generation in terms of this counterfeit recreation, new Genesis. You see the word Genesis there, really, Darth, with cis, S-Y-S at the end. This self-ascension, this Gnosticism, this transhumanism, this counterfeit spirituality, and this self-elevation that we keep seeing being pushed again and again on this society. Now, the idea of showing this is not to elevate it or promote it in anyone's mind. This really is about exposing false philosophies that is being pushed on this world. And as you can see here, the symbolism really is about this new age or new dawn of humanity. It is very humanistic in its essence, and really there is nothing new under the sun. It's all the same counterfeit deception that has come from, ironically, the book of Genesis, where the serpent was in the Garden of Eden saying that you can become as God, knowing good and evil, the tree of knowledge, taking a bite from the fruit. And that is the heart of what Gnosticism is about. about thinking that you can become as God through gnosis or knowledge and self-elevation. So let me show you some of the disturbing imagery from this event. And as I said, this is not to elevate it in anyone's mind, but rather to cast down false philosophies and show you what is being promoted, so that you can find the truth of the gospel of Jesus Christ, which is the only way to salvation. You see here, they show imagery of like these neurons coming together, the elevation of mankind in humanism into a singularity, as the propaganda shows the world coming together as one in rebellion against the God of creation, our Father who is in heaven. You see him breaking out here into this scene above these waters where he has like these counterfeit powers, these lying signs and wonders where he's able to manipulate water. You see here, raising out his hand and lifting up water. These supposed godlike powers as this man is being elevated, this antichrist agenda. You see here that he's raising up his arms and this energy, these powers are coming into himself as he ascends to be like a false god. And as he raises up and elevates, he gets these wings made of light. This is the false light, yet again, shown in this sphere in front of thousands upon thousands of people in Las Vegas the other week. And he elevates himself, he goes up, and you see that the firmament is burnt open, and he ascends like into the second heaven. So really this is showing this Gnosticism, this idea in Gnosticism to become like a higher being, a counterfeit spirituality, as the firmament is burnt away as he self-elevates, very much like this picture of Gnosticism, this guy like reaching through the veil, so to speak, coming from this created world and ascending himself through to a higher level, or to see through the veil to become like an ascended being, and which is the essence of the deception within Gnosticism, where they believe that this created world was created by the so-called demiurge, which is a blasphemy of our creator God. And they think that this created world, this material world, is on like a lower level, and they need to raise themselves up through that self-enlightenment to a higher state of being. And they think that they can ascend past this lower created world, this material world, and self-elevate into a higher spirituality or a higher consciousness, which is the very same lie from the Garden of Eden, where they thought that the creator God was holding people captive, Adam and Eve captive in the Garden of Eden, and this so-called demiurge, creator God, was holding mankind captive, and they were liberated from the matrix of this prison, this created world, to ascend to a higher place. And actually the serpent brought enlightenment in the Garden of Eden to set them free so that they could ascend to a higher plane. And this is what they're showing here, as this individual, you see, he gets this energy and he's ascended above the stars. The next stage in human evolution, lying signs and wonders and counterfeit powers. And people were cheering and shouting and just thinking this is a really wonderful thing. And all they're doing is consuming this new age Luciferian propaganda. You see Adam and Eve here, they are on this new dawn together, that they're embracing each other in the sun, you know. And it's got this kind of emotional music as the camera pans round, showing Adam and Eve coming together in this new dawn. And Adam walking towards this light with the fig leaves around his waist. He's walking up through these rocks to this light. And it really just is showing that Luciferian propaganda, which is heavily related to this false light and self-enlightenment. And Adam and Eve coming down, I assume that may be the tree of life. I'm not exactly sure. Again, with all of these breakdowns, these are opinions that we're sharing here in terms of the propaganda, in order to hopefully help you to see what the deception is and to clearly define the way not to go. As we see them coming down, we've got that, like we had before with the old Genesis show, we've got Adam like in the natural state, and you've got Eve in this transhuman state, and this apotheosis, which they call, which is the coming together of two opposites, the merging of two opposites together, which is their false New Age lie, this end of duality and this merging together to become like a counterfeit godlike being, which is the exact opposite of the gospel of Jesus Christ and of the God who created you, who asks us to humble ourselves, recognize that we are a sinner, that we're not gods, and to reject this self-idolatry and to fully trust that Jesus Christ has paid the price on the cross for our wickedness, for our rebellion, for our evil, to humble ourselves from this prideful state and to accept and trust and put our faith in his sacrifice, Jesus' sacrifice for the salvation from our sins. Not to self-elevate here, like Adam and Eve are being shown here, to try and reach this higher state of being and to be like gods, which is the very reason that mankind was plunged into sin in the first place when we took the forbidden fruit in the Garden of Eden, when Eve was deceived by the serpent and she ate from the forbidden fruit, and Adam then also took and ate and rebelled against God. Well, this is possibly like the tree of life in the Garden of Eden, or the tree of knowledge of good and evil, I'm not exactly sure, but possibly the tree of life. And remember that Adam and Eve were cast out of the Garden of Eden and the tree of life was guarded. Now, what they're trying to do in this agenda, you see the false Hindu gods here shown as well. What they're trying to do, it seems, in this agenda is to counterfeit the gospel in every way. And they want to try and achieve eternal life without the forgiveness of sin. They want to try and reverse this curse, or at least that's what they're showing, without the forgiveness of sin. Jesus said, I am the resurrection and the life. The only way to have everlasting life in a state of paradise is to come to Jesus Christ for the forgiveness of sins, and he will give us the gift of eternal life, not by self-ascension or by our own good works or humanism or anything like that, but by coming to him as Lord and Saviour. See, all they are doing, and it's very simple, is trying to counterfeit the gospel. They're trying to copy the hope that is found in the gospel of Jesus Christ and counterfeit it. See, when we come to Jesus as the Messiah, we are promised that one day we will receive a glorified body, a new body, which will be different from this one. It will be a glorified body, a spiritual body, still physical but glorified, and it will be a different type of body than this one. It will be a resurrected body. So they are trying to counterfeit eternal life through Jesus Christ, being given a new body in the resurrection, and all of these things are just literally carbon copies of the gospel, but without the true Messiah at the heart and without forgiveness of sins. You see, all of this is a complete mirage, because the fact is, if you pridefully rebel against God and follow this Luciferian agenda to the counterfeit gospel of the Antichrist, then you won't receive life in paradise. It will be nothing like they are showing here. It will be the complete opposite. You'll have an eternity where you're not forgiven for your sins, and you'll be condemned for eternity, and you'll be sent to the lake of fire. Now, that's how cruel and horrible this deception is, because it is a complete counterfeit what they're showing here, and this is not the state of being that anyone will be in if they choose to reject the gospel and follow the beast. So it's a really cruel deception that we're exposing here, and as you hear people cheering for these things at these events, it's very sad to see, because ultimately this deception and delusion will not be what people think if you take the mark of the beast or if you die in your sins. So ultimately we're seeing here an agenda that is promoting the Antichrist with these lying signs and wonders and false deception that will lead people to perish. So I really wanted to show you here what is being shown at these events and the Gnosticism, the Luciferian propaganda, again, to cast down those doctrines of demons and false philosophies that are being pushed more and more in the day and age we live. Now, the powers and principalities were defeated at the cross of Jesus Christ. God is ultimately sovereign over all these things, and we can trust that all things will work towards the good of those who love him and are the called according to his purpose. So no fear, keep your hope in Jesus Christ, because your eternity is secure and set if you put your trust in the gospel. You will be with the Lord in heaven forever, and nothing can take that hope and promise away from you. Jesus Christ will return, likely very soon, so he will defeat the works of the Antichrist and establish his kingdom forever.
Jesus, Gandhi, Lincoln, John Kennedy, Bobby Kennedy, Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers, Malcolm X, John Lennon, they all said, try to live together peacefully. Bam! Right in the fucking head.
Wait, you're telling me the moon landing didn't happen? So they just faked the footage?
Exactly.
Yeah, in a Hollywood studio. They faked the footage.
Stop laughing.
You sound crazy. You're one of those crazy conspiracists.
Я, как оператор комбинированных съемок, считаю, что это была кукла, снятая на управляемой радиомодели. Это похоже на съемку в большом павильоне с применением фронт-проекции, с применением радиоуправляемого макета, который имитирует движение ровера на лунной поверхности. Что вызывает сомнение? Очень сильно мотается камера на ровере. Это видно. И в то же время никакой реакции у человека, сидящего на ровере, нет. Он работает так, как будто у него связана, прикреплена кисть руки и локоть к туловищу или к роверу. Камера движется. И абсолютно не движется рука. Движется блокнот, хотя не очень понятно, почему блокнот может двигаться, но тем не менее он движется, а рука нет. Это называется. Кроме того, есть участки, где очень хорошо читается разница между насыпным грунтом и грунтом, находящимся на заднем плане. Они и по цвету, и по свету, и по фактуре отличаются одно от другого. Эти же сомнения вызывались, когда мы смотрели фильм Кубрика 2001 «Космическая Одиссея». Там тоже была разница между передним и задним фоном. Там тоже было некоторое несоответствие. Скорее всего, эти кадры снимались здесь, на Земле, в условиях земного притяжения, изменения скорости съемки хорошо передают условия работы на Луне.
Has released more classified documents than the rest of the world's media combined.
Picking up the wound. Gathering information. Light them all up.
You want to be in pictures.
That's the best. But I'd say it's another one to print. I think that's awfully good. That one and the one before it was pretty good.
We have about 15 seconds.
Oh yeah, you got a lot of time.
Yeah. I claim this land in the name of...
What do you got now?
Great.
Now move.
So they didn't go to the moon, huh? No shit.
I wanna hold the hand inside you. I wanna take the breath that's true.
I think there's someone hanging right there.
We found a dead body.
Yo!
By the way, the Earth is flat. The Earth is flat? What? No, it's flat? What? You're being serious.
I'm gonna go.
Okay. Hi, this is DARTHNEWS. Breaking news. I just found out that the Earth is flat. It's a tough pill to swallow, so swallow it. Oh God. The Earth is flat. Holy shit. I wasn't prepared for this kind of news. I'm so sorry.
Thanks all for watching. I'll see you all soon.